Okay, well, I've nearly finished dotzee. It's because it's new and it's something entirely different than I've been normally doing. The box is not any different. I mean, the box wasn't a lot of trouble. It's the dice, and I wanted to know several things in areas that I hadn't been before. And I went on YouTube and I thought they'll never have this, and how you paint dice and colour dice. And anyway, I got the right wording. I forget what it was now. And there's loads of things on dice and how you colour them and everything. But there's a few dice now that are coming up with colours on, with 4 colours on them. But at the moment there aren't all that many, and they're not in big sizes, apart from the foam rubber ones or the foam ones. And I wasn't successful with the whites because the white dice, the number 6 is a blank on this, but I don't know if you can see this, but yeah, you can see where the white doesn't hide it, because as you take it off, the paint off, you rub the paint off to leave it inside the hole. Some of the black shows through from the original marking, which is quite difficult to get rid of. On the coloured ones, it's not too bad, but the yellow and the white, it tends to come through, which spoils it a little bit. The greens, the blues, and the reds are okay; they're fine. So I'll have to find a method of colouring in yellow and white so it looks blank. They've got that's what spoils it at the moment, and that's the only thing that I'm a bit disappointed with. But the method I used for that was I used these acrylic paints. I get these from Amazon. I think they're about 170 odd, or I only buy the cheap ones. I think you can pay £2.50 for these, but you can get them as cheap as £1.70 odd. With postage and package, they cost you over £2. And I've got the 4 colours. I've got several colours, and this is all I used, and a little brush. I've got a little brush here. If anybody wants to do this in the future, I don't know. I'm just saying how I do it. I mean, my method is a little bit different to the other people's, and I use this brush, which is it's pretty haggard now, and I use it for everything. I use it for varnish and acrylic varnishes and things like this. These are acrylic paints. And what you do is you try and keep as much from the outside of the thing as you can, but you'll go over when you put it on. So you just spot each one with the colour, and then it doesn't matter if you go over, because what you do is, if there's a bit over, you get your nail once it's dry, and you just scratch it, and it all comes off. It's wonderful. They say put it on a piece of paper and rub it and all this, and I found it made it go red. If you had a red one, it would leave the red marks behind and things like this, because these are not, they're heavy and they feel like quality dice, but they're not quality dice, and they've got imperfections in, and the colour goes into them just ever so slightly, which is really noticeable. The eye notices everything. But if you do it with your thumbnail or your fingernail, if you've got nails, or some object that's not too sharp, a credit card probably would do, and you don't do it too hard, and you try and keep it on the surface, you'll find they come off quite good, and they don't look too bad. But as I say, the yellow ones and the white ones are not too good, so I'm going to have to repaint the white and the yellow again, and then be very, very careful on the black areas, and then rub it out carefully and see if I can cover it in. So that's the only thing I've done. It's not too noticeable, and I've been playing the game, and the object of the game is, as you can see there are there's no rule book out yet, but there were a couple of people who have written things about dotzee, and from there I gleaned out the rules. And on the internet there's a couple of guys who talk about it, the blokes that actually make the game, and they tell you how it works. And I find that this is a visual game. This is a game of, there's a bit of strategy in it, but not too much. But it's mainly about missing things, because there's so much to see at once. And now the colours are on, it's even worse. So, and they were missing things like, what you've got to do, because there's only 16 dice and you're working up and down, and across, and you can work diagonally as well from one corner to the other corner, the longest corners, that's all. So you've got 4, 4, 8, you've got 10 areas you can score in, and what you're doing, you get 4 of a kind, and the colour doesn't matter. So if you get 4 of a kind, that's like 4 4s, 4 2s, 4 1s, and the colour doesn't matter. I mean, you can have a yellow one, or a blue one, a red one, and so on. So that's a 4 of a kind. As I say, the colour doesn't matter. And then you can have 2 pairs, so you can have like 2 5s and 2 4s, or in pairs anyway. They work in pairs, and you've got to look along and see where all the pairs are in the row, because they can be odd ends. There's a pair there, they're together, they're quite easy to find, but there's also a pair across here, and there's another one coming up. So if you could get a 4 in this end, you could score two with one shot. So you can score. You only score 1 point at a time. I made a mistake on the last one. You only score 1 point. There's no extra scoring or anything. But and the other one is a small straight, so you can go from 1 to 5, 1 to 4, and 2 to 5. And the other one is a flush, all the same colour and any number. So as long as it's blue, 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 it doesn't matter. So you got 5, 3, 1, and a 4. If that was a blue 4, that would be a flush, and you score a point for that. So there's 4 methods of scoring, and you can score 4 points on your go if you move the dice. And the way you move them is that you start off with the game where you've got the blanks on the outside. The 6s are classed as the blanks, and you can see that I've tried to cover the 6s in, and from that distance they probably look like a blank. And as long as there's a blank on the outside, you must roll the dice, you must roll the blank. But once it's been turned over and they're all coloured like this, and you're well into the middle game, as I call it, you can roll any of the outside dice then from any corner. You've got 4 there, and 4 there, 4 there, and 4 there. You can pick and choose from. And when you actually pick it up and you roll the dice, so you'd pick whichever one you wanted, and then you throw the dice, and then you'd look and see where it would do you the most good. So there you've got 3 and a 3, and you've got 3 at this end, so you can move it this way to get that 3, or you can put it in this and then put it there, or you could move this one down and move it to there. Whatever you wanted, whatever took your fancy, to get the scores. But as I say, you're looking around to find the scores. It's a visual game, and trying to see what there is the most difficult part. And I'm sweating by the time I finish, because it doesn't matter how good you are, you will miss something, I'll tell you. So that's basically the game, and I found it quite entertaining. I haven't played it with somebody else, but you can virtually play it on your own. You can play the game on your own. It's nothing too spectacular. And this one, all I've done is I've made it so that there's a recess in the bottom of the box, and if you put the things on like this to put it to bed, I'll have to lift it up and turn it over. I'll just pull back on this. Yeah, and you turn it all over like this. I think I've shown this before. And then the bits go in because of the recess, and then it goes into the thing, and you just do the reverse. That's it, put to bed now. And then you do the reverse if you want to put it on the board to play a game, or you can continue with the game without being too without upsetting anything. So there you go. Yeah, I didn't quite put it on that. I'm trying to work around the camera at the moment. That's it. So with 2 hands it works every time. So that's it, and that's me. It's all homemade, this. And the dice, for the people that don't know, I bought the dice in I will forget these. This is how I buy the dice, like this. And you get 10 in a packet, and I think they're about $2.50 for 10. postage and package on the top. Cost you about £8 for 20. So you only need 16 dice, so you've got 4 left over, which I've got here. And I think my daughter may well want one of these. So what I'll do is I'll probably make another one. But you don't have to go through all this flash arrangement. Once you've got the dice and you do the spots, so you'll do all the spots in the red ones, and then you do dots red ones, and then dots blue ones, dots green ones, dots the one dot, that's what I'm talking about, blue one in the 4 colours. Then you turn it over and you do the 2s and the 3s and the 4s and so on. And it's quite easy to make. And as I say, once you put the paint on the acrylic, you just scratch it off your nail. The only 2 colours I'm disappointed with is, well, the white's not a colour, is the yellow, because that's a light colour, and you'll see the marking, the black, come up from underneath from the dots, because the dots are in sort of black. But they're a good dice. I'm not complaining about the dice at all. I can't fault the dice. But for anybody that's interested in making it, and that's how you play. It's as simple as that. It's you play 4 different types of poker hand, which is 4 of a kind, 2 pairs, small straight, and a flush. And if you're not sure about it, you can write it and put it to one side, or I make little pictures for people that play it. I mean, my daughter and the wife don't know anything about hands of poker and stuff like that, but once you tell them what they are, there's one here, it's got small straight. If you enlarge that on your computer, you could just put that a bit of Fablon over the top, or put it down as a piece of paper for each person to show them what they need, and that'll show them exactly what they need to make the things. But the actual game, I find, is noticing what is there. There's lots there. There's so much there. I tend to miss it. My eyes glaze over, and I don't see anything. And even the people that made it were saying, well, you've missed one there, and there's one over here. So it's a complex visual game. I don't think it's too much shattering. There's a little bit of strategy about what you pick up, and you know if you're going to make a score, and by the way the dice are arranged. Sometimes you pick up a dice, it doesn't matter what you throw, you know you're going to score, because all you've got to do is push the things across to make the scoring. So like this one, 1, 2, 3, I needed a 4 for that one, so that would have scored me if I'd have thrown the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you look along the other ones, you've got 1, 4, 1, 3, 5, 4. You've got something here as well later on, so you need a 2 in there. So you've got to watch that one, and then as they move along, if you move one row, it moves all the rest of the rows. So you can't score what somebody else has laid last time, but if you move them up and you score, you can score again. You get 2 or 3 points at a time. As I say, you score up to 10, and the one with the first to 10 is the winner. And you score for each hand a flush, 4 of a kind, 2 pairs, or a small straight. You score 1 point each, and the first 1 to 10 is the winner. And it starts off slowly, and you think, what the hell is this game? But once you get into the middle of it, you make him pick up blanks, and he's got to roll a blank, and then he's got to put it down, and he can't use the same dice that you've just played. So if you played the 1 and put it down, he can't use that one. He's got to use any other one on the outside. And you must use a blank if it's on the outside. If there's a blank on the outside, you must use it. And if there's no blanks on the outside, obviously you move whatever, you move anything you like then. And if you throw a blank, you put the blank in. So if you throw, which would be the 6s obviously, you put the blank in, and then he carries on. But he couldn't use that blank anyway, because you've just played it. Anyway, I'll stop there and hope that's been some good and use. And the game you can see in the corner left hand side, I don't know if anybody's interested, I didn't leave it on there on purpose, I just forgot it. I keep forgetting things, but it's from it's a set of tiles I've just made for my daughter for a game called 20 Express. It's a very good game. It's one I fell in love with as well. It's another one that I rather like, and she liked it, and I said, would you like it? And she said, oh yeah. So anyway, I'm making that for her. I've got to put some varnish. I've got some acrylic varnish to put on the top. It dries in seconds, acrylic varnish. But it's a bit too quick for me actually. Anyway, I'll stop there and wish you adieu. Well, just a couple of things before I finish. I did say I'd finished before, but I hadn't, and I thought it needed the rules, really, not the rules, but the combination of the throws that you've got to make. And I used a bit of Fablon, that's all, and it's got Fablon on both sides, so it will resist water and everything else. And I've tried to colour code it, four of a kind, and a flush, and a straight, and 2 pair, and the colours are on so it shows you what's what and everything else. So I did 2 or 3 of them, and I stuck a couple in spares in my book. I made these up on the thing. I went on the net and found for cards, and I removed the cards and put the dice in. And yeah, I found that other one a bit small. It was a bit too small, that other one, to do. Yeah, I did say that you could enlarge this one, but it doesn't really enlarge, and it's very, very poor. Figure 5. Yeah, these are the dotzee rules, the official rules, these. And what I've done, I've made another little one here, which will actually fit inside the box. So I'm just figuring out whether I can put it on top of I'll probably put it on top of the dice when it goes in, and I'll probably put a bit of Fablon on this as well, so that the actual scoring things are with it as well, in case that, because I made these and I made them too big. They don't actually fit anywhere, but these will actually fit in. They're exactly the same thing, just smaller, that's all, and they'll actually fit in. So that's it, and that's the end of me. I've been toying with the idea of painting this handle at the front black, but I haven't quite made up my mind what I'm going to do. I might just varnish it, I'm not quite sure. But it's unlikely you'll see this again in anything on the net, unless it's by accident and somebody's playing it and I'm doing something else or something. But that's the final bit. So, and the other thing is that I haven't done it very well, but I have got the thing, a video of me talking while I'm making this box, in various sequences. I'm making a dice tower for my daughter, and at the same time I'm doing this. I like 2 or 3 jobs going on at once, and it shows you me making this. And if anybody wants to see that, I'm not sure whether they do or not, because my videos are quite lengthy, but I have got it if anybody's interested in trying to make this themselves or whatever. But the only reason I made this was sort of about it's such an expensive game. I don't know why it's so expensive. I think I looked on Amazon for America, and it was $19 in America, and 65 quid over in the UK. Then you need postage and packaging on top of that. So I don't know what's happening here. Somebody's getting a tax. It isn't me. Anyway, I'll say goodbye, and hope that's been of some interest.